can eat.
Welcome back to Nonsense. I'm Chris, and in the battle of Rick's body versus Rick's brain, his brain definitely lost.
Let's get to the
Did
car.
you just your own in there?
But obviously his body was only armed as well as it was because of his brain. And also, a body doesn't have a brain. What is happening? I do get the hammer-fisted metaphor that Rick's brain is a slave to his body. Plus, remember this.
That's what happens when you get too used to winning, Morty. You start sucking your own dick, Morty.
And the ultimate joke of him blowing himself is actually that it's what's happening anytime Rick or any of us give in to our carnal desires, our bodies overcoming our logic. The critique being that it's no different, other than, how completely and utterly disgusting this specific version of it is. But the metaphor stands. Plus, Rick is confirmed by...
Please don't tell Rick.
He wouldn't understand.
Yes, he would. I'm kind of doing a thing here. I'm not looking for judgment, just a yes or no. Can you assimilate a giraffe? I'll talk to you after lunch. Whoa, what's the matter with you, Morty? Calm down. As the kids say, you do you.
Or I guess maybe omnisexual? So I doubt it's foreign to him, though this version is actually a lot sadder, I think. But we'll analyze the meaning when we get there, so let's break the episode down, starting, as always, with the title, Erickerhead, a play on Eraserhead, which, aside from the wordplay and the head falling off scene, has nothing to do with the plot or the meaning of the episode. It's a surrealist horror about the loss of identity to parenthood and being stuck in a corporate society. There's definitely identity generally at play in this episode, but it's entirely focused on, carnal impulses, not corporate society and parenting. The episode opens on Rick chugging a beer in an alien beer garden, confused why Morty and Summer aren't having more fun. In the background, we can see that they have an alien version of Jean-Francois Millet's The Gleaners, a very famous painting depicting the working class that sparked controversy among the upper class. There's also a couple of these elephant deer mounted heads in a beer vat. There's a bunch of nondescript cups up here mixed with a bong, ayo. After the meal, the kids help a stumbling Rick out of the buffet, where there's a statue of a guy holding a beer over some wheat, I think. A funny looking car in this alien parking lot. Summer says Morty has the ship's keys while Rick opens a portal saying he wants a new stomach. Summer gets pulled through the portal as Rick drunkenly stumbles in before poking his head back cause Morty thinks they should get the ship instead of portaling. Rick drunkenly argues until the portal closes around his neck, chopping his head off and the portal gun in half. After the theme, we see Summer's perspective. Behind her are some nondescript robot parts, and back here an eyeball container with tongs to fish them out. Summer finally realizes what happened, and we cut to Rick growing some neck bags to breathe with. Rick's body's defenses activate and say,
"This body has 7 nuclear devices. Please retreat to range of
14 miles. Which, accurate. Relative safety for most modern nukes is about 15 miles, I think, though still stay undercover and don't look at the blast. I've covered Rick's new ringtone 3 times this season, I won't mention it again, but Summer grabs his phone and pulls out her own. We see some contact names, but no puns or familiar faces. She calls Morty and asks how to disable the body's self-destruct. Rick walks her through disabling it, but she accidentally causes the body to say,
tear ducts on,"
which implies they were off, which implies he'd otherwise be crying, which is really sad. She manages to disable the self-destruct though, only for Rick to tell her she's in a dangerous part of town and to head to his local contact shop for safety. This one sign is English even though all the others are alien letters. Morty tells her he can't find the ship keys and she says she found them in Rick's pocket as she starts to panic, but Rick says she's on the same planet as them and it'll be fine just to head to his contact's shop. When she closes his back, we get a cool shot of the internals, but I've stared at it for way too long. Outside of the obvious spine going through the center, it's all just random pieces of technology crammed together with some red gunk on it. While she's closing it, she accidentally activates a parachute and a hairdryer mirror combo so Rick can keep his hair looking good. She shoots one of his shoes off and a crowd of people start gathering talking about wanting the expensive body. They chase her down the street where we see a sign for bodybuilding, good pun, and the hip spot with a hip bone, even better pun. Summer rocket shoos the bad guys and reloads the leg like a shotgun, which doesn't make sense since the shoes were the bullets, but whatever. As she keeps running, there's a sign for Bodies, 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 a relatively new and popular movie. She manages to turn the body into a scooter to make her getaway. We also see a random open sign and another human on this alien planet before cutting to Morty and Rick's head at a doctor's office. They make a joke out of Morty wiping away Rick's usually permanent spit spot. The doctor asks Morty if he's sure he wants to give his body to Rick's head, which surprises Morty, and the doctor randomly decides he must be Rick's kidnap victim, calling security and causing them to have to make a run for it. Morty chucks Rick into a cab and tells the cabbie to gun it, as we see they were at Shrab Medical. The writers clearly realize the bit they're going for hasn't been set up enough, so we get some forced exposition about how different Rick feels without his body, and right now specifically his pickle. But Cab TV suddenly comes on with an emergency notice about Rick and Morty, so they have to knock the cabbie out before we cut back to Summer, who's made it to Rick's friend Seb's buy, fix, sell body parts. Inside, there's a lot of robotic parts lying around and alien signs, but nothing specific. Seb introduces himself thinking he's Rick's best friend. Summer, inviting trouble, tells him he's just the stomach guy. He asks if Rick has any other body part mechanics, and Summer, again inviting trouble, says yes and insults his neighborhood. They take the body in the back, but when he tries to access it, it freaks out and suddenly starts acting like it's alive out of nowhere. Seb installs a sensory array on top of the neck so that the body will be able to see again. And going forward for the rest of the episode, the body is treated like its own person, with its own personality, desires, and opinions, which this is one of those ones where you shut the critical thinking part of your brain off and just enjoy the ride, and that's fine. So the body is a person now, and we cut to Morty driving them away from the cops and towards a tech store, because Rick says he needs parts to work with. So they crash into a tech store, and again, I did what I always do for these. Each scene I pause and look at every inch, and while there are lots of vague background tech pieces throughout the episode, there are very few that are references or jokes or anything. Morty threatens the shopkeep into giving them tech, and we cut back to Summer and Rick's body as all her crap talking comes back to bite her. Seb brought guys in because he wants Rick's body too because it's worth so much. Summer makes her escape, and for a sec this guy is wearing one of those spinning top hats. Now that the body can see, it can fight again. They run past a street performer and a homeless guy with a sign that says "Will work for limbs." They get chased onto a subway where they have to fight, and Summer literally turns this big guy's robot arm from on to off, under which he has a little arm. They kill a few more guys before getting knocked out of the train, but climbing to the roof. They keep fighting all the cyborg bad guys and the fist bump afterwards, making a run for it as soon as they reach the next stop, but the main guy is still chasing them until Rick gives him a weird massage and hug, which fixes everything. When Summer questioned why that worked, it just hugs her too, and we cut to Morty and Rick's head eating various chips and stuff as the cops surround the store. Summer calls Rick, who ate the phone, and says to meet them at the spaceport. He then tells Morty he's eaten enough tech and to aim him at the cops so he can laser eye them. But Morty says he doesn't want to kill anyone, and Rick agrees. Morty acts surprised, so Rick can again hammer home that this is because he doesn't have his body to give him bloodlust. So Morty aims him, and he uses his lasers to just knock out the cops. He then connects to the planet's internet and hacks the police computers to end their chase, referencing GTA, saying,
You just killed our GTA rating!
So they get on a plane to meet Summer at the spaceport, like Rick said, and he cries at the movie Tenet, which is fine as a movie, but I don't know about cry-worthy. Plus, isn't the emotional stuff supposed to be the body's purview? Anyways, their plane lands, and we cut to Summer waiting inside with the body, who has written her an emotional note saying that while he's all heart and no brain, he wants her to know he loves her and believes in her. Morty and Rick deboard, and Rick grows a little robot body to walk to his body, and they do the classic run at each other side angle shot like it's a happy reunion. But of course it turns out they hate each other now, each blaming the other for all their problems. The fight moves outside, and we cut to Summer and Morty in the ship talking to Rick's head on the phone, who's saying he's just gonna get a new body and move on, letting the other body do whatever it wants. He hangs up and goes to this other body mechanic, Rachel, who he clearly has a crush on. And it turns out the body is already there. He blames the body for ruining the friendship with Rachel, who now doesn't want to see either of them, and they start fighting, with Rick's head opening with the first of two semi-familiar attacks from his fight with Evil Morty in the season premiere. I know it's not exact, but it's the same size and feels like his take on it, at least to me. But the fight moves moves directly into, I think, a refinery of some sort, where Rick's head blames the body for all the drinking and sex and stuff, and the body indicates that it blames the head for all the problems. Rick's head attacks the body, trying to take it back over using hardened hair tips, but ultimately losing his little robot insect body. He then uses this scream attack that to me feels vaguely reminiscent of Evil Morty's wave attack in the season premiere, again like his take on it, but it has no effect on the body, so Rick's head rolls off the walkway, laser-eyeing himself onto some kind of lever and hacking into the console it's attached to, using one of the facility's arms to move himself to the main control area, where he attacks the body with everything the facility has, but the body using the break glass in case of emergencies shirt pocket as a bit to power up before doing this great one-shot that ends with the body knocking down the control station. He pretty hilariously bargains with himself, promising to eat clean and stop drinking, and just before the body's about to kill him, he offers him something that we don't get to hear. Yes, I isolated the audio and checked the captions. No, we don't know what he said. So despite the joke Summer makes that they seem to leave as the canon, I feel the same way about this as I do about the fear hole, now also about it maybe still being Ted from the vacation episode, and finally now that maybe Rick offered to take turns basically, and that the body gets an extra long turn first up or something. I don't know, I'm not saying it's likely, just saying they did leave a little room for suspicion in all these episodes for a reason, probably just to mess with us, but you never do know. It'd be hilarious if in one episode we find out that for several episodes or seasons it was Rick's body's new brain who was actually Ted's body's new brain, who was actually just experiencing the fear hole, who was actually still on the story train. But anyways, we cut to Summer and Morty waiting for the head and body, who went into an office for some reason. Eventually a unified Rick comes out with a pretty peaceful look on his face. Obviously, like I showed in the opening, Summer calls him out on blowing himself. His face seems to confirm it, and I do think it's the canon, but like I said, maybe it's not. They finally leave the planet and get back home. Rick decides he's going on a health kick, and we get a series premiere callback of him kicking the door in and dragging Morty out. This outfit, by the way, the same one he has on when he and Summer beef up to fight the devil. Summer and Morty are miserable when they train, and then we get that shot from this season's theme song of Rick in Space Olympics. When the kids finally admit they hate this too, Rick boasts it as proof that working hard for stuff sucks too, so they head back to the beer garden to stuff their faces. After the credits, we see Rick tease Morty with the head through the portal thing to show him he fixed it so that it can no longer do that, and they parody the "That's all folks" sign-off. It was very much a mind-bender of an episode, felt a little pickle Rick, a little tiny Rick to me, definitely another hit though, and the ratings agree. So far, it's a popular opinion that this season is 6 for 6, and the ratings do reflect that. I think this may be a full season of bangers, and I can't wait to see next week's. So make sure to subscribe if you enjoy my breakdowns, leave anything you noticed or I missed in the comments so I can include it in my post-season video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.